Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey, and welcome to Transformation Tuesday over at Loving Me Before I Love You. Y'all, can y'all believe that we have crossed over into the second half of the year? And this is the time when we get free in the streets, right? Because it's summertime, we're doing our own little thing. We are exploring and living in our freedom. So that's no different for us as ladies. You know, a lot of us need to tap into our feminine side, I don't want to call it getting feminized, but I will say just embracing our inner goddess. Like, we are women, and sometimes we like to be shut down, put in the closet, not taken care of, because we don't do it for ourselves. Not about other people. It's really about us. But we are also in the era where everybody's talking about this feminine energy. How can I exercise my feminine energy? I want to be in my soft girl era. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And I say it's blah, blah, blah because I have my own little take on this. But I do have a guest with me today. And I'm sure she is going to probably whip me into shape, but we ain't going to go there. We're going to let her do her thing. Her name is Ber-Henda, and she is a business coach for transformational feminine leaders. And she is going to tell us how we're supposed to be embracing our inner goddess. Welcome to the show, Ber-Henda.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm not going to shit on y'all. I don't believe in shitting, but I'm going to invite us for sure to really embrace what that means, what that feminine energy means, what it means for our lineage, what it means for our healing, what it means for our daughters who are watching us, and for those who are in relationship with us, because we teach people how to treat us.
Absolutely.
And you know, I know you're a mom. They don't listen to what we say. They always pay attention to what we do.
I say it all the time. They don't do what you say. They do what they see. And so what are you showing them? That is the parenting 101 motto. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't do nothing outside of that. So I 100% agree with that. But when I think about feminine energy, right?
Yes.
So as a therapist, feminine energy is what I consider to be a buzzword that is like overhyped in this moment. Like ADHD and narcissism and what's another one? It's just, emotional intelligence, right? All of these that I just said are super important. Don't get it twisted. They have their place and where they're supposed to be. They actually are real items, real things. People are narcissists. People do have ADHD. Emotional intelligence is super important. But I think we overdo it, right? So when I talk about that feminine energy, it's like I think women abuse the word versus be the word. And so when I say I have my back and forth eeks about it, sure. I have it because I feel like it's been weaponized, just like I feel like narcissist has been weaponized. It's not really used for what it really is, like what it was designed to be used for, what it was designed to be. It's more used for, I don't want to carry no groceries. I'm in my feminine era. I don't want to, take out no trash. I'm in my feminine, like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's super like abused, or I'm feminine. You need to do X, Y, and Z. Pay all my bills. I just need to be cute, be on your arm, you know, be soft and polite and curtsy and yes, baby, whatever you need. That is that. So I know, go ahead and whip us into shape and tell us, I know when you hear the word feminine energy, I'm pretty sure like you have a ton of things that kind of like just pop up.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can just break this thing all the way down. I think a lot of it comes from um, spiritual white women.
Mm,
And so that has its own shade and texture that we hear sort of the usages of practices and ways that have come from communities of color, i.e., Black women, our Indigenous sisters, our Latina sisters, right? Our South Asian sisters. So these are practices that were passed down to us from down our matriarch line. And so when we say, well, I don't want to pay any bills or, I just want to be on your arm, those are perhaps maybe benefits of being in the energy, but we don't approach the energy for what we can get,
that part.
right?
It's
Feminine,
something it's a being. It's what I look at it
it
as.
is
It's a state of being.
it is a
But we
beingness.
use the word.
Yes, it's a beingness. So our job, if you will, if we for lack of a better word, our job here on this plane is to allow versus get and extract. And so that's a very masculine paradigm. And as we've seen over the course, particularly if you are a melanated person on these shores of the United States and um, this side of the world, we were brought here by force. So being soft, demure, reserved, that wasn't going to help your survival. You had to really rely on your sixth sense. You had to really rely on physicality. On my father's side, my grandmother's mother birthed her in a field and had to go back to work. So there was no prenatal care. There was no aftercare. There was no maternity leave. She had to go back to work, clean the baby off, go back to work. And if you were fortunate enough, you could keep your child. But in many cases, what does that do to our DNA? What does that do to our mitochondria when we have been subjugated, when we have been abused, when we have been taken from land into places and spaces where one, of course, is foreign to us, but in such horrific ways that lodges in our bodies. And so the feminine is the healer.
Okay.
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 The feminine is what heals. The feminine is what incubates life. And no matter where you fall on the gender spectrum, whether you have a physical womb, we all have a womb of consciousness. And so what are we feeding our womb of consciousness? So whatever we think comes from a belief.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about indoctrination, when we talk about, our path, our pathology, we have learned and adopted, but we're also, not only have we learned and adopted, but we're also in the process of undoing. I often say, and I do get emotional about this, I often say to my clients and whenever I'm speaking in public, that I am the first woman in my family that can take a nap in the middle of the day. So we also see that rest too has been arrested or co-opted. I'm resting. I'm not participating. I'm sitting this one out. And while I believe that rest is a spiritual practice.
Mm. So I do teach my clients that rest is a necessity, right? That it's almost like a requirement. And I do believe that it is a spiritual practice because God created the world in a certain amount of days and then he did what? Rested, which told me it was a necessity. It wasn't an option. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a child of Christ and I'm doing things as he did, he rested, I need to rest too.
After every miracle, I mean, come on now.
I'm just saying.
We want to get into it. We can get into it. Often rested. It said after he, did a miracle, turned the water to wine,
he rested.
Rested. He went to go be with his Father. He went to go be in the presence of God. Yeah. So who are we not
to do so? I'm with you when you're right. You know what I mean? I would be with you when you're wrong too. I'll just tell you on the side. Mm-hmm. But I'm just, but no, I 100% agree.
And I mean that's business right there. So I think that when we think about, since we're getting in this bag here of the idea of rest and Sabbath, and it's interesting that you bring that up because literally, my pastor led a sermon on real Sabbath. And she also got into really the deep metaphysics of Sabbath and what does it really mean, mm-hmm. and how in our society we do not rest. And there's a difference between rest and sleep. And that, again, the feminine, I just want to make sure we're always tying things back as people are listening. If you're taking notes or wherever you are in the process of listening to the podcast, resting is also very feminine. So when we look at our seasons, our masculine seasons will be spring and summer, a lot of activity, mm-hmm. but the feminine seasons are fall and winter, right? The world is beginning to slumber and go back to sleep. We've had our harvest. Those are feminine seasons. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I do with my clients is that we do seasonal planning. So we literally plan in season. And so my good sis, since you want to go there, we're going to talk about the fig tree. It was cursed because it was out of season. Mm-hmm. And so many of us don't understand that there is a dynamic law that governs the universe. And so when you are out of season, you can look at your life and tell whether you were in season or out of season. And so we're going to go back again to the feminine principle. The feminine also is wise. That's where our wisdom, our intuition, where we get the prophetic dreams, where we get a word. But if you're always go, 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 do, and busy,
you don't have no time to listen. You can't hear. You don't know where you ain't getting no real guidance. You're just doing. And doing from sometimes a state of lack of direction because you're just moving all the time.
Right. So there is no space for you to plan, and there's no filter because, I mean, you and I, we met on the internet. We met on the Book of Faces on Beyonce's internet. And I think that there are good usages clearly of social media, but we are in a state of unrest right now, and rightly so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got multiple genocides unfolding on the planet. If every third word is tariff, right? We protest, don't protest. Mm-hmm. Boycott, don't boycott. Mm-hmm. Boycott this, but don't boycott that. Oh, you boycott this. Oh, so you're bad because you didn't participate in the ways in which I think you need to be participating because I'm not participating this way, so you shouldn't participate this way either. How about everybody just go to their bedroom, go to their rooms,
and take a break?
Take a break. Take a break and ask, what is my assignment? What's mine to do today?
Yeah.
Because everyone's participation is going to be different, and everyone's assignment is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's purpose is different, but no one knows because we're following trends.
The leader.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Trending. Mm-hmm. What's trending right now? What's trendy? What are we talking about in our culture? What's popular in the lexicon? And what should I be following? I mean, we're in a world where
which is exactly what I mean when I say that they have weaponized feminine energy. Mm-hmm. Like it became this cute buzzword in the relationship spectrum. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, men, I just want a woman in her feminine energy. Ladies, I want to be in feminine energy. I want to be in my soft era. It's like, what is that for real though? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Outside of what you consider to be the tangibles of, you walking around being prissy and cute, or from the women's perspective and from the man's perspective, your mouth is shut and you doing what I'm telling you to do, and you're just sitting there in a position. Like, what does it really mean? And when we talk about we have to embrace it, because I do think it is imperative. I do think it is something, because it's our natural state of being. It's like who we really were created to be. When God created the help meet, he didn't create her to do it all. However, she was supposed to be a part of the process. You know what I mean? And so finding where you sit, finding your position starts from inside of you, which is like why I do everything from a self-love perspective, because most of us don't know who the heck we are.
No.
We just out here living life without a clue.
That's right.
I literally, I was doing renting a car, and the women in there that, you know, something was happening with another customer, blah, blah, blah. And this lady that was in front of me in line. So she got, you know, was getting her car done or what have you. And they were just kind of discussing the previous customer's attitude and trying to encourage the worker, like, don't allow his attitude to, you know, screw your day up or whatever. And I just kind of chimed in. I was like, yeah, a lot of times it's real quick to develop an attitude in response to his attitude. But the reality is you don't know what he's going through or what's on his mind that make him have the attitude towards you. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it your fault or anything. However, but if you rest in who you are, you should not be changing based upon who they are or what they do to you, towards you. Your disposition should always remain the same. It should always rest in you. And so that was, and it gave her that unction. You know what? I do need to just focus on what's in my right now and what I need to do for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so again, goes back to, again, the tangible or the deeper component of feminine energy. The feminine is resolved. It's unmoved. It's anchored. It's unbothered. I know that's another one that's moving around the lexicon as well. It's unbothered, but it truly is, because it's rooted and it's steady. And so when we look at feminine archetypes of our beloved TV mom, Felicia Rashad, you know, looking at that, that's definitely a personification of feminine energy and power at its best. When we look at Susan L. Taylor, who was the editor of Essence magazine, I mean, Susan looked like she floats. I don't even think she walks. Like, that woman looks like she literally floats and smells like shea butter and high expectations.
She is such a pleasant lady. She's so pleasant. Yeah. I met her when I was probably I was in high school for sure. And she came to our church for something, and she was so pleasant. It was just
graceful.
That part right there.
Just moved in a goddess form. I mean, it's like if we were to do a depiction, like a stage play, and we need someone to be Queen Mother incarnate, like, yeah, Susan L. Taylor, she would fit the bill. You know, Octavia Spencer comes to mind as well. So it can show up. And I mean, you see just the diversity in the women that I gave examples of. They're not the same, but they do have the same energy signature in their feminine. Lynn Whitfield, you know, just her whole career just has always been elegant, graceful. She could stand there and we would just, you know, be in awe. Sade drops an album, once every, I don't know, 20 years or less, or, you know, or more. But we wait with bated breath and anticipation for her to bring her next album, her next creative endeavor. We wait. Well, to me, that's the epitome of feminine energy, because she's not going to produce for the sake of producing. She waits until she has something to say. And until she feels ready to deliver, and it never misses. I mean, Sade never misses. Why? Because she's in tune. She's in tune with her mind, her body, her spirit, with her motherhood. You know, she doesn't put her business out. We didn't even know she had a child. You know, we don't hear a lot about her. I don't know if we ever about her romantic relationships, because really and truly, that's none of our business.
Right.
So she, to me, again, is just the personification of divine feminine energy, of knowing when to move, when to stay, when to rest, when to create. And so I think we've seen so many examples of what it looks like. And so then I invite us into exploring, what does it look like for the self? Because, you know, you are your own unique emanation, your own God expression. So
True.
what does it look like for you to do it? And the only way to do that is to go straight to the architect, go straight to the builder.
What they say, go to the horse's mouth.
That's it. Your own beautiful blueprint, you know, your genetic coding and gifting, to really understand who you are, whose you are, and what you've been put here to do. And I think also purpose can also be a really great guide, because when you know you have a purpose, you don't have time to be delayed or derailed.
True.
Engage in conversations or energies that's going to take you away from your purpose. So when you know what your purpose is, very clear on what your values are.
A lot of us don't know that, though. So I always feel like when it comes to understanding purpose, value, passion, we tend to go based upon what other people wanted us to do previous, right? It's like, oh, my mama said I was good at blah, 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 blah. Or you are doing something and somebody says, oh, you know, you're really good at that. You should really do blah, 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 blah. But internally, we don't check in with that internal compass. We tend to just go based upon what other people see in us, because we don't see ourselves. We get up every morning, look ourselves in the mirror, don't know who we looking at. And we just move off of routine. We move off of what they say is like auto robotics. It's like,
autopilot. Yeah.
The sun came up. It was time to get up and go to work. The sun went down. It was time for me to cook dinner. It's just no real purpose, no intentional living. And so like when I'm teaching clients all the time, it's like, get up and do something on purpose. The young lady at the rental car place, was, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I said, you matter. Do you know that? Do you know that you matter? Mm-hmm. I understand that there's a million things happening in this world. But if you don't take care of you, it does not matter. That job gonna put your position back up in 5 seconds after they get notice that you have passed away. Mm-hmm. The people in your family are going to come and cry for 5 minutes, and they're gonna go move on with their life. You matter.
Mm-hmm. What did our prophetess say? Erykah Badu, bag lady, got too much stuff.
Yes, and just doing it for other people. It's like, what are you getting out of it?
The people pleasing, that keeps you safe. People pleasing, everything that we do has a purpose, whether it is intended or unintended, it does have a purpose. So people pleasing can be a mechanism. I work with highly sensitive, empathic people. And so one of the things to keep your environment safe, to keep you safe, let me make other people happy.
Oh, yeah.
I won't be the recipient of your anger, your wrath, right, your discontentment, your disappointment. If I say yes to everything, correct, if I make sure that everyone else is okay, even at my own peril and even at my own resentment, I will say yes, I will please, I will be the savior. And here's the thing. There was one that did it. There was the best that ever did it. You don't have to do that. That's not yours to do. That's not your assignment. Yeah. You can support and you can guide, but taking full ownership and responsibility, especially for grown folks.
Girl. Let me tell you something. When I decided to live life on my own terms,
Yeah.
was the best decision I ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's me living in my own feminine energy because it's for me. You know, I teach my kids to put themselves first. We have a thing. People say, "Oh no, you do what?" Let me, you know, we were raised to think that when a mama tell you to do something, you do it. You get up and do it right then, like because she said it, because this is what she, you know, she's requesting of you. Not in my house. And people think I'm crazy. I said, but let me tell you something. If if I don't drop everything at the drop of a dime for somebody else because I'm doing something for me, I can't expect them to drop everything at the drop of the dime because I'm asking for something when they're doing something for themselves. So we put rules and boundaries and things like that in place to help them understand when you're doing something for you,
Sure.
when it's about your own edification, when it's about your own peace, your own thing, you say, Mom, I hear you. Let me finish X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to get right to it. So the thing is, you acknowledge that I said something to you. You tell me that you understood the assignment. And then you ask for some time in order to get that assignment done. That keeps the respect of who I am as mom and the request. However, it also puts themselves in a space of saying, I still come first. What I need done for me still comes first. Because if I teach them to only do what I ask and to always do what the authority asks every time, then they're always last. And then they always turn their thought patterns into thinking, let me do something for they need it. Let me do it for them. I can do for me later because I've been doing that all my life. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, hope you're feeling the love in today's episode. We'll pick back up where we left off in a moment. First, we're excited to share that Tammy has a collection of self-love t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and journals for you to express how much you love yourself to the world. From comfy hoodies to motivational mugs, there's something for everyone. While you're listening to today's show, feel free to browse the full collection at IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
And I think that modeling is just so super important to the feminine expression and the way in which we show up will indicate to people how to respond. It's just this, this, of course, this is an extreme example, but, we look at the way dignitaries come into a room, whether it's president or CEO or, someone from the monarchy, there's a certain energy that they exude that just kind of commands the room and it commands respect. And you don't have to have any of those titles to command respect. Your energy more so than your words.
That part.
And we can take it even more the spirit in which you do things.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I want to make sure my saints understand the spirit in which you do things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Also will dictate how life responds to you. And then again, you can tell you're out of balance because life will mirror back to you.
All the time.
It will always mirror back to you where you are. So you can say one thing, but your life will give the reality of where you are. So
people don't understand that. People don't understand that you can come and tell me you're rich and if your life is looking real shabby, I'm like, for real? For real?
Right. Because whatever you think about, you bring about, and whatever you talk about most, that is going to shape your reality. And again, we can see that all over social media. I do believe in vulnerability and I believe in honesty.
Ooh,
I believe, right. And I believe that those are very, very powerful. But
Let me say this. I do not believe in vulnerability. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's a recent change of mine. And you're probably going to be like, oh, wait a minute. You may even want to go ahead and join my little crew. You know, I'm just playing. I don't have no crew. But vulnerability is a very negative word that I did not realize it was negative until recently, because it simply means to have yourself exposed for danger. When what we really are saying is that we want to be visible. We want to be seen. We want you to see me where I am, see me for who I am and what I have to offer. And so I no longer use vulnerability, because it's like, wait a minute, no, I don't want you to use what I'm sharing against me. I don't want to expose myself for danger. I don't want to put myself in a space of saying, hit me, here I am, use me as a target, do what you want to do. I've given you all of me. I've given you everything that you need to use it as a dagger against me. I really just want you to see me. Don't abuse me. Don't misuse me. Don't see me. So I stopped saying vulnerability to saying visibility. Like I want to be visible and honest, visible and transparent, visible and.
And so I think that, like many words, they evolve.
Interchange.
Yes. And they evolve over time.
Mm-hmm.
And so at one time, gay men happy.
Yeah.
The language has,
say that. Yeah.
We don't say that anymore. Queer meant strange. But I get what I do, because I do concede your point. I get what you're saying. And I think over time, the word has moved into what you're saying. The definition that I'm using it in is what is evolved to, which is meaning it means, and I just did a cursory search on it, appearing as you are, being loved, being seen just as you are.
Which for me ultimately switches right into visibility. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just depends on which definition you really want to go for. I think for me, when I just saw the word danger in the middle, I'm like, oh, no, because I believe in words. And I know that words are super powerful. I mean, God created us with nothing but words. So I always say, oh, you know what? No, don't bring no danger my way. Don't even hint that it can be a plausibility just because I want to be seen for me, for who I am. So I stopped. Yeah, I literally, it was a part of, I have a self-love acronym, and it was the V in love was vulnerable. Right. And I was like, oh, we got to change that. I was like, I sent the message to my assistant. I said, we immediately changing this. Sorry. And it stands for the same thing, but we got to change the word.
Well, again, like I said, words evolve over time. And I will say this, though, even when it comes to things like visibility, what we want to get to is not visibility in terms of how, like we hear the word brand, how you appear. And I believe even the word brand gets misused. Yeah, because we're always talking about our brand, especially our business owners, our brand. I even heard a baby talking about, well, I'm protecting my brand. Boo-boo. You haven't even hit double digits yet, and you're talking about your brand. But I think what we're getting at is our energy signature. Mm-hmm. What we're getting at is our soul signature. Mm-hmm. Because your brand is not really it's not determined by you. The true definition of brand is how one appears in the marketplace, how one appears in the world. So, just as you were talking about the young lady at the car rental and that interaction that she had with that gentleman, his brand could give off surly, agitated. We don't know what he woke up to. We don't know what his environment has been. Yeah. We don't know where he is in his healing journey. Unfortunately, she was the recipient of bad behavior. However, we don't have to internalize other people's behavior.
Yeah. Don't own it.
You don't have to own
Don't
that.
take it and make it your own. Because that's what I was telling her. I was like, the thoughts that you're having, our thoughts are like free. They're free wills, right? They just free. They come in. They're looking for a landing space. They're looking like, oh, who can I join? What part of you am I going to attach myself to? And when you validate that thought, when you give that thought legs and say, yep, you can sit here, is when the problem comes. I said, but if the thought came in that you are not enough, don't validate it. Don't go, well, you're right, because I was with so-and-so and he left me. And then I had so-and-so, 4 months before that and he left me too. So maybe I'm, so-and-so treat me this. Like when you start validating the thought and making it real is when you create the larger problem. But if that thought comes and you like, oh, that's a lie from the pit. I am more than enough. I am,
Right.
able to, I'm worthy of this and I can do all of the things that I need to do. And I am deserving of love. I am deserving of, like when you combat the lie is when you change the outcome. If you allow the lie to sit and take residence, you're not going to change the energy. You're not going to, as a man thinketh, so is he. So you have.
That is correct. And truth is the liberator. When you can walk in some truth, that is liberation, that's freedom. And, interestingly enough, freedom, liberty, justice are all personified as feminine. So when we look at Lady Liberty, the hallmark of the United States of America sits in New York, Lady Liberty. When we think about justice, whether it is indeed blind or not, that's a whole other conversation. But the personification is a woman with the scales blindfolded.
Yeah.
And that goes back to antiquity, to ancient Egypt, the goddess Ma'at. So again, that goes back to, again, the feminine. And when we think about creativity, going back to antiquity, we have the muses. So, in Greek myth, muses came to provide inspiration. You had writer's block. You had a muse that would come to help you with your creativity. Again, going back to the feminine. So what we're talking about is not new, maybe some new language, but it's older than time itself. Yeah. It's ancient. And however, it's been suppressed. It has been besmirched. It has been demonized, weaponized. I remember, Audre Lorde talked about the uses of the erotic, which the erotic in you is feminine. And she spoke to that, any way that you want to necessarily, because power is invisible. It's nebulous. You can't catch it. You can't, but you can feel it.
Right.
So since you can't catch it, you can't harness. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to weaponize it. You're going to demonize it. You're going to make it something that we want to refrain from. And it's maddening even that we're seeing a movement on empathy, the sin of empathy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yes. And that women are the most susceptible to it. Now, why don't they want you to feel?
Right. The same way that they never wanted men to feel. They think they don't have any feelings when reality they do. And some of them are tapping into it. And I'm glad for them because
it's healthy.
You're simply human.
Jeez, cry.
As a human, you have all types of feelings.
Please cry.
Let it out.
Somebody. Let it, please. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Because it heals your family line too. When you release those behaviors, when you open yourself up to cry, it's really healing to do so. And so, for our men or those who are male identified, you are healing your family line every time you cry, every time you embrace with candor. I'm trying to find another word besides vulnerable, but when you have candor.
You are funny. You can use it.
When you are leaning into who you are,
your core,
And that side of you that is feminine, the anima, animus, we want to get all Jungian, on folks. But, I think that wherever you are on that, on the gender spectrum, leaning into the wisdom, leaning into healing, community, like I said, judgment, sobriety of judgment, wisdom. I mean, we really want to go there. It's right there in Proverbs 8:8. Lady Wisdom speaks. It's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew my mind, especially as a PK preacher's kid growing up, and all I knew was a male God that only had a masculine side. And then I'm reading, I'm like, wait a minute, lady, what is it? In plain sight.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And then didn't see anywhere else.
Yeah. But we have both sides. Everybody has both sides. You just have a larger quantity of the other. And I think when men learn to care, when they learn to tap in, they get more out of things. It's always about compartmentalizing, even for ourselves. There are times that we have to tap into masculine energy, and there are times where we're in our feminine energy. But men also have that same capability. They just don't always use it.
Yes, and I think that that's super important that you name that. I love that you name that. We have to also tap into our masculine, because there are times where things need a push. Mm-hmm. We need a spark.
Yeah.
Right. We need ignition.
Yeah.
We can't just lay idle. Clothes don't get clean without an agitator.
Right.
So we need movement. Absolutely. But I think but it goes back to that discernment, that stillness, that quiet of when is my season to go and move? When is it for me to be in and out? We saw protests happening, last weekend. The edict was, Black folks, Black women, sit down. This is not your fight. You sit down. Yeah. Right. And so I think that there are just new ways of doing and being in the world, because we do want a better world. We do want a world that works for all. But sometimes that load in yours.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also knowing when it is. Like I think about as a businesswoman and then being in a relationship. Like I don't go home and boss my man around because I'm a boss at work or, in my business. Like you have to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And I think a lot of times when we get in relationships, it's difficult for those of us that have had to step in what we call leadership roles and, be the CEO of these businesses and have subordinates and have people that you are providing instruction to and guidance for. And then you go home and it's like, wait, you can't tell him what to do. That's can't tell him to go, go take that trash out. I know you see that trash looking out. Excuse me, who are we talking to? Being able to tap into letting him lead and you follow is a real thing. You're his neck, not his head. You assist. You don't lead. And just understanding what your role is. And that there are roles in life and in the workplace. This is your role over here and perform. Do what you're supposed to do in that space.
I think for anyone who feels, especially as we look at our modern world where it's going to take two incomes to make a household work. Like, we're just going to be honest. It's going to take maybe even 3 or 4 incomes.
Everybody got 2 jobs.
Everybody, if you are able-bodied, you can work. Hey, there's work. But I really believe that everyone would greatly benefit from a dance class, a ballroom dance class.
Let's waltz, baby. Let's tango. Let's do it all of because it. It's really that pull and yes, salsa is my favorite to see. Because it's like, that pull.
And what I love about salsa is he make you look good. I love it because I act lazy because I don't really have to do anything. Mine is just the footwork.
Yeah.
He does everything else. If I just do that, step back on the right,
Man.
1, 2, cha cha cha, 3, 4. Like, that's all I have to do. Yeah. And when we are in dance, there's no role bigger than the other role.
We're partners.
Right. There's a back, there's a forth, there's a harmony that exists. And when we have a great lead, when you have a great partner, and I will tell you this, energetically, if I have a perception that he's not a good leader, my default will be to lead. And I had to learn through dance. Dance taught me to trust your partner.
Yeah. But a lot of times we don't trust people because we don't trust ourselves.
In that part. So right. I had to learn.
When that energy of lack of control kicks in, and it's really lack of trust. It's like it sits in the fact that you don't show up enough for you. You can't really depend for other people to do the same. So you just try to control the circumstances. So therefore, when something goes awry, you're like, well, I did it. And
so dance, if you want to heal that part of yourself, dance, many cases, is a very inexpensive investment.
Yeah.
Some places are free. So I would say wherever you are, do a quick Google search for dance classes, ballroom dance classes. Who knows? You might meet someone. It's fun. It's a funny story. So where I go for a ballroom, he's been doing this for maybe like 30 years. People have gotten married, have met their soulmates, their life partners.
Right there on the dance floor.
On the dance floor. In fact, one of our instructors, he met his wife. He was teaching and she said, nope, he's mine. She made a declaration and here they are, years later. It's a funny story.
It's a beautiful story.
But it's a beautiful story. And so she said at the beginning of the cruise, like, you're not going to dance with the rest of this. You were not dancing with anyone else but me. I thought that was hilarious. But my point is that, try it if you are single and you're looking for somebody, it might work. But the dance piece teaches you to be in your to let go, to trust, to be in your feminine. And again, he's going to make you look good. Yeah. Like you don't have to really do anything. You just put a little,
be the picture. He's the
That's it. Put on your skirt, so let it flow, do some dips. You will look good, but you are not doing you're not doing the work. He's literally doing all the work, but you get all the benefit of the work.
Yeah. And it's a good space to be in. I feel like, feminine energy is a space of softness. It is a space of just being, and it's grace. It's just like you say, the dance. It's the flow of it all. And being able to just be there in that space is amazing. I will tell you that you don't have to have a significant other to be there. If you are a single woman, it's okay to be there in that energy.
Mm-hmm. And again, dance, like I said, it's a very, low stake investment, especially if you are single. Go enjoy yourself, have fun, be free. Most major cities have some dance studio, dance meetup.
Yeah.
Ballroom, something, or go. It is one is great exercise. So that's another thing too. So if you're concerned about, your waistline and you want to get snatched, dance class will definitely snatch you.
Yeah.
But also again, too, just to practice the principle of the feminine energy. It works wonders.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for doing this with me. Because again, we don't talk about what it really is to have feminine energy, what it means to rest in it and actually live in that space. But I think a lot of times it's weaponized. And so we can stop weaponizing it, stop abusing it, and actually use it for what it's for.
That's right.
So that's the point of our conversation. And just to know that, you are that girl. Give them 3 tips of how they can embark upon their feminine journey if they haven't started it, and three tips that they can continue if they're on the journey. Like if you're on this journey and maybe you just started, maybe you're in the middle of it, what are the things that you should always incorporate on this journey?
So 3 tips. If you're just starting the journey, explore your values. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what you value, your time, talent, and treasure will be wasted. Mm. So get to know what your value, what your core values, what are absolutely important to you, and then create boundaries around those values. Purpose can evolve. So no matter where you are on the journey. So, early in my career, before I left teaching, which I think is a noble profession. I was a Spanish teacher for many years. It's a noble profession. It was great, but I knew something was calling me, and teaching is purpose work. Mm-hmm. So what do you do when you're already in purpose work? That is purposeful, but I did have a higher calling. And that's when in 2019, I went all in my business, left my teaching job. Parents were not happy about it.
I'm sure.
They were not thrilled about that, but I, had to come to a point where, am I living for my parents or am I living for God? Am I living for what I've been put on this planet
to do?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So purpose. And again, purpose can evolve. So, went from coach, well, I would say poet, teacher, coach, now podcast host, talk show host. So all of those things again, so purpose will evolve. So give yourself permission to grow. No matter where you are, whether you're just starting out or you've already been on this feminine journey. And so the last thing that I would leave you with is that failure doesn't exist as long as you learn. And as long as we're in these bodies, these earth suits, as long as you will make mistakes. Make them often, because the more you make a mistake, that means that you are building up you're not risk averse. You're not afraid to take chances. Mm-hmm. This is why pencils have erasers. You will mess up time and again, right? But what do you learn from it? And don't judge yourself. That's the fourth, that's the bonus. Stop judging yourself.
Give yourself grace. Yeah.
That's it. So that's it.
100%. Well, thank you so much. Tell them where they can find you if they want to connect with you.
Yes, please. So you want to find me? You can find me on these internet streets under Ber-Henda Williams. I'm the only one in the world, so you can Google me. But more specifically, you can go to berhendawilliams.com. So there is a hyphen there, the way you see it spelled here, berhendawilliams.com. I'm all over social under the same name. So LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. I think that's all the places. YouTube, all under Ber-Henda Williams.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And remember, love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.
Ooh, that part.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.